What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been getting asked a lot lately. Now, I've done this topic. It's not like it's some new topic to the channel or to the space as a whole, but I keep getting asked about, these super long lasting cheap fragrances. So I do update that topic from time to time, and sometimes fragrances continue to stay cheap and long lasting, and we might get a couple repeats from time to time. And there's definitely one that stayed firm on this list that needs to stay firm on this list. But I've got 7 very particular, super affordable fragrances under $50 USD here in the States that they just last and last. They're looking for all of that. They have all of that performance that you guys are looking for. So let's talk about it. Stay tuned. Starting with one that's a little on the polarizing side. It falls somewhere in between Hachivat and Aventus. It's from Afnan. It's Supremacy, Not Only Intense. So you gotta like black currant and oak moss because it's a bomb of the two. Oh, but it's such a good one. The quality here is really good. It's super, super strong. Super strong. It's been a little while since I've worn this one. It's staying on the desk. This one needs to get in the rotation. Smelling that is magnificent because I do love a great black currant note. Tart, rich, deep, and fruity without being super sweet. Has this earthy, kind of smoked, spicy green feel from the oak moss. There's other supporting notes here, but that's the main takeaways from this fragrance for me. Very fruity without being super sweet, with that uber masculine oak moss dominance that most people have come to love in the more masculine side of things. And this is a 12 plus hour fragrance. This is crazy strong, crazy loud. At least on me, this is a monster performer across the board. Longevity, sillage, and projection. And you get it for around $40 to $45. I'll have links down below for everything, but absolutely one to check out. If you're looking for all the performance, Supremacy Not Only Intense from Afnan has it. Basically, Beast Mode Aqua de Jo is kind of how you can look at this, because it gets compared to Aqua de Jo Essenza, but it lacks the floral component of Aqua de Jo Essenza, but very close to it nonetheless. This is Bentley For Men Silverlake, an absolute reflective fingerprint magnet. I try my best to keep it clean, but you can see some fingerprints on there. It's hard to keep clean, but a beautiful violet leaf aquatic tone. It's not your typical watery note with some fresh greens. Has that typical 90s cologne smell that was made very famous by fragrances like CK1 and Aqua de Jo, or Aqua de Gio as people like to say. But man, this is a timeless scent profile with really, really good performance for around $35 to $45 from discounters online. This is such a great offering, guys. I just noticed that the focus was jacked up, so let me fix that real quick. That's the downside to having a busy background. The autofocus can get locked sometimes, but man, this is a great fragrance. If you like Aqua de Jo, this is kind of the ultimate version for cheap. Yes, it's better than Perry Ellis Red 360, or just name that fragrance that smells like Aqua de Jo. This is better than that. This performs better than all of those. And I know that's very important to a lot of you, because when it comes down to getting those compliments you guys covet so much, the performance is going to be important. Admittedly, all of the performance we're talking about here today is how these particular bottles act on my skin. You never know what you'll truly get till you spray them on you, but for me, 10 plus hours easily, super strong for about 2 to 3 hours, pumping off the skin with some pretty good sillage. Hard to beat for the money. It's Bentley For Men Silverlake. Now, this is one of the best releases of 2023, and it's from Lattafa, of all brands. They did great. This is supposedly a clone of a K. Ali fragrance, I think Juicy Apple or Eden Apple, something, I don't know, something like that. But Bade'e Oud Sublime in itself as a standalone is a phenomenal fragrance. Basically Hawaiian punch with rose. Shout out to my man Dedrick for putting that in my ear, because it absolutely smells like a fruit punch, Hawaiian punch if you will, with some bright Turkish rose. There's jasmine, there's a couple other things going on, but it smells pretty much like that. Apple, lychee, plum, very, very fruity. Does have, God, that smells so good. Does have a bit of a feminine lean to it for sure, because it's floral dominant. It's a fruity floral fragrance, a sweet fruity floral fragrance at that, but it's fun, it's vibrant, it's an absolute monster. I'll never forget spraying 6 sprays the first time I wore it and learning very quickly how overwhelming that was. Now I typically do 3 to 4 because it's just a monstrous performer, and the prices continue to drop. Last time I looked at it, which was in, within this week of the recording of this video, I think it was like $25 on Fragrance Buy, if I'm not mistaken, which I paid in the $40 range when it first dropped, which was still a great price for this fragrance. But to get below 30 like that, in the mid 20s, it's an absolute steal for this, guys. It does not smell super synthetic to me. They continue to put out great fragrances in this line. I hope they continue to do so. Kudos Lattafa for this. I've never smelled the original that it's supposedly a clone of, but I'll tell you what, this is a damn good, monstrous joy to smell. If you like fruit punch and rose, it's a great combination. It's Lattafa's Bade'e Oud Sublime. This next one is the fragrance I was referring to that stays kind of firmly in this topic. When I bring this topic up, more times than not, you're going to see Davidoff Cool Water Intense. It's sub $40 in the mid 30s range, technically. Let me get that to focus. Gonna have that busy background, so it takes a little bit for that focus. But bubblegum bomb. They don't list ambroxan, but it sure smells like it's got a lot of ambroxan in here. Nuclear performer. Hell, not the last time I wore it, but specifically last year. I had got sick at the beginning of the year, and I just did 2 sprays just as a pick-me-up, and it lingered all day. I smelled myself nonstop. This is a monster performer. It smells great. It's youthful. It's along the lines of your Versace Eros type of playfulness, that sweet, fruity tone, a little bubblegummy, Invictus kind of thing. It doesn't smell exactly like either of those, but in that vibe, in that kind of, that genre of fragrances, if you will, just nuclear performance. Super long-lasting. I've never done more than 4 sprays on this, and I never will. It's just way too powerful for me to do that. And you get it for like 32 to 36 bucks from discounters online. Amber coconut, I believe it's vetiver, is the third note, but it's more of a slightly milky type of coconut, ambery. Sure, it has that warmth, but it's still got that bubblegum, slight shower gel, ambroxan type of feel. Like I said, very youthful, playful fragrance, compliment getter type of stuff. And I don't know how you can not get compliments from people that like the way it smells, because everybody is going to smell you when you wear this fragrance. It's a staple in this topic. It's been featured many times in this topic on this channel, and it will continue to be sitting here for a while, I would think. Davidoff Cool Water Intense. Now here's a new one to the collection and new to this list that I just recently got. I just started spending time with, and it is super long lasting. Strong sillage. It's basically spicy Dior Homme, and I mean Iris Dior Homme. It is Fomo Parfums Gary's Den Le Parfum. This is Fragrance Buy's originals. Well, original clone brand, I guess you could say. Fomo is their brand. They have 3 fragrances. They're all clones. This is supposed to be a clone of, or their interpretation, basically, of Dior Homme Parfum. And I did a side-by-side, and yeah, there's a strong similarity, but it doesn't have the dark animalics that Dior Homme Parfum has. What this does have is loads of spice, cardamom, coriander. It's leathery, but it's more of a labdanum than a straight up, dense animalistic leather accord with oud. Now, like I said, very much belongs in the, Iris Dior Homme family. It's kind of the forgotten flanker is the way I described it in the live stream where we did the comparison. This has that waxy makeup bag, powdery iris smell with loads of spice and a little bit of leather and woods, instead of being dominated by leather, rose, oud, sandalwood, because this doesn't transition into a super creamy dry down like Dior Homme Parfum. Like I said, cut from the same cloth, has the same bloodline and DNA for sure, but its own flanker. It's so good. It is so good. This absolutely could have been a Dior Homme flanker when they had the line completely being iris-based fragrances. This could have been something. Intense is very sweet. Parfum is very dark, rich, and leathery. This is warm and spicy, fresh and spicy at first, settles into more warm and spicy, more ambery, if you will, that helps warm it up. I don't know what they would have named this in particular, the Dior Homme Night Noir or something. I don't know, but it sure could have been its own Dior Homme flanker. This is a must try, in my opinion, if you like the Dior Homme style fragrances. It's 35 bucks. Beautiful build quality. They did a really good job with it. I mean, it doesn't look like some crazy cool bottle, but it's heavy. It's well built. It's got a good atomizer and a thick cap. Metal cap, and the fragrance is great. It doesn't smell like $35 fragrance. I'm super impressed by this one. It had to be featured too. It's affordable, it smells great, and it's a beast. That's what's most important, right? To a lot of you anyways, it's Fomo Parfums, Gary's Den Le Parfum. Next, we're right back with another offering from Afnan in a totally different line. This has gotten tons of hype over the last several years. You can get it anywhere from $25 to $35. It's well worth your money. I do think it's actually superior to what it's a clone of. I've stayed consistent with that. It is Afnan's 9 p.m. clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. So instead of that fresh fruity pear, you have a fruity sweet apple note at the top with, you know, all of that spice. It's just that playful, youthful club vibe that people like. The younger fellas, but this is ridiculous. I've never done more than 4 sprays, just like with Cool Water Intense, and I never will. It's so strong. The hype is real on this one. Look, not every single one of you that go out and blind buy this fragrance is going to absolutely love it. Some of you will be like, man, I don't get the hype. This is weak. I see all that crap. Okay? Just as so many other content creators in the fragrance space do, I'm sure. So just know, you're an adult with their own money that's making a decision if you're going to go out and blind buy these fragrances, and there's a risk that it might not be a beast for you. There's a risk you might not like the way it smells. There's a risk. Now, the majority seem to love this and get monstrous performance, and I am of that majority. This is phenomenal, so much so that it's one of the few and rare occasions where I say just get the clone. I love Ultra Male. It's a great fragrance. I think this is superior. It's not as screechy, scratchy, synthetic in the top, though Ultra Male's opening is beautiful. This is superior. It's smoother. I feel like there's better oils being used by Afnan for their version of it. That's what really makes me say just get this one. Again, 12 plus hours easy, 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours of really strong, really strong projection with a great sillage that follows after it. I'm not guaranteeing you'll get the same performance, but it's highly likely that you're going to get phenomenal performance out of this, because that seems to be what the majority seem to get. So definitely try this one out. It's a blind buy, as with most of these, so be wary of it. I have to make this disclaimer because I've seen some of those cases where people just get so mad that they spent $25 and they don't get the exact same performance. So be mindful of that. Everybody's mileage varies, but it's great. It's 9 p.m. Last but not least, this is another one similar to Afnan 9 p.m.'s, just sheer hype for the money, because you can get this one in the $22 to like $35 range. Really, like $25 to $30 is what you can expect to pay. Hype is real. I think it's more hyped on TikTok than it even is here on YouTube. It's Lattafa Asad. It is that jam, guys. This stuff is that good. It does have a little bit of a fresh twist on Sauvage Elixir. I do get the pineapple fruitiness at the top. I've had people tell me they don't get any of it. It's exactly like Sauvage Elixir. Hey, to each their own, but it's definitely walking the same path as Sauvage Elixir. It definitely smells like Lattafa's version. Slight twist to it. It's warm, it's spicy and aromatic, it's woodsy. You have a little bit of an extra roasted nuance to it from this coffee note. But at the top, I do get a little bit of fruitiness that add a slight freshness that's maybe not necessarily there in Dior Sauvage Elixir. But this is hype justified, in my opinion, as well. There's another one, 10 to 12 hours easy. I've seen people say they get more than that. Really loud for 2 to 3 hours. It's a straight up beast, guys. And then it doesn't just become a skin scent. It's got a great sillage where it'll keep reminding you it's there for hours and hours on into your day. That's been my experience. That seems to be the experience of most. Look, is it as good as Sauvage Elixir? No, it's not as good as Sauvage Elixir. Some will argue that with me. Maybe you're just convincing yourself, or maybe you just genuinely like it more. Again, this is my opinion, but I think the depth overall of Sauvage Elixir is better, but that is multiple times more expensive than this, and this gets really close for a fraction of the price. That's why the hype is so justified on this. It's not a straight up one-to-one clone. It's pretty damn close. It has its slight little tweaks to not necessarily make it its own thing, but make it more of an inspiration than just a straight up carbon copy clone. But it's a damn good one. If you're looking for all the performance with a great smell for like under $30, the hype is real on this one, people. It's Lattafa Asad. Well, that's the 7 that I wanted to talk to you about today here in this video. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 7, what are you familiar with? What have you tried? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you get weak performance? Are they monsters for you? I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of all of that down in the comment section. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 7 and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later, especially if you get similar performance to me. Have a good one, guys.